Agencies are doubling down on operational support and compliance, while the noise around budget uncertainty keeps vendors frozen on the sidelines. The pressure in this market is real, but the contracts are still moving. If you've been waiting for the right moment, stop waiting. Welcome to This Week in Procurement, your weekly outlook on state, local, and education government contracting opportunities. I am your host, Abby Souffrant. Let's get into the top 5 opportunities that stood out this week. First up, out of the state of Massachusetts, we have a $10,000 contract opportunity for security system repair and maintenance. This is not a construction project. This is an ongoing, as needed maintenance work at multiple facility locations. It covers access control systems, software house security management, remote diagnostics, and multi-site coordination. This is a wonderful fit for our security contractors with Boston police relationships and access control expertise. This signals that a buyer is looking for a reliable maintenance partner with on-call terms for a 1-year term minimum scope. So it has a very low barrier entry point for vendors that are already operating in this region. Next, out of the state of Texas, we have a $4.1 million opportunity for amphitheater canopy installation. Yes, this is a real-life contract. However, this is not a standard shade structure job. This is a fully engineered turnkey installation covering 1,000 seats with electrical conduit runs for fans and lighting. The scope includes sealed engineering documents, custom shade structure manufacturing, delivery, and complete installation. Best fit for general contractors with turnkey shade structure experience and manufacturing partnerships. This signals serious buyer intent, especially with a $4.1 million budget, a 3-week question window, and full contract complexity means that this agency is ready to move. Next, out of the state of Washington, we have a $440,000 contract for Executive Residence Guard Post Geotechnical Assessment. This is not a standard site survey. It is precision engineering work tied to slope stability and subsurface conditions at a sensitive location. Scope includes soil and groundwater evaluation, subsurface assessments, slope stability analysis, and design criteria development. Best fit for our geotechnical engineering firms with slope stability and subsurface investigation experience. For these types of contracts, it signals a mandatory pre-bid walkthrough and a tight scope definition, low scope creep potential, and a clear lane for the right firm. Now, if you resonate with any of these opportunities, make sure you join us in the Academy. That is where you'll find all of the links for these opportunities and more. Our next contract is coming out of the state of Texas with a $1 million budget. This is for employee background screening services. This is not a one-time engagement. This is a 4-year contract anchored in a health system onboarding environment. Scopes include criminal record checks, sex offender and child abuse registry cross-checks, social media screening, and 10-year employment verification. Best fit for background screening firms with healthcare sector experience, registry access, and data integration capability. This signals recurring revenue and a long-term stability. But the volume forecast is missing, so ask early and price accordingly. Next, out of the state of Illinois, we have a $332,000 contract opportunity for surrogate parent training program services. Now, this is not a checkbox compliance contract. This is a program execution role specifically tied directly to outcomes reported to Illinois State Board of Education. Scope includes volunteer recruitment and marketing, training and development, as well as delivery, background check coordination, confidentiality compliance, and in-person events. Best fit for nonprofits and training organizations with education, advocacy, and volunteer management experience. This signals that buyers want execution efficiency on a modest budget. An annual volunteer volume is unknown, so clarify that number before you price it. This week's contract spans security, infrastructure, engineering, health services, and education. And every single one of them is buying an outcome, not a vendor category. The market is not rewarding the most polished vendor. It's moving toward the least risky one. Your job, if you so choose to take it, is to close that gap before the solicitation closes. Now let's take a look at our big map. This week, from April 3rd to April 9th, 2026, the market released 28,888 new opportunities nationwide. The forecast is clear. Two pressure systems are driving activity across every region. First, facility management is the dominant front. Janitorial and custodial services alone accounted for over 30% of new contracts, signaling that agencies are prioritizing physical operations and building upkeep across the board. This category is not slowing down. Second, a compliance surge is moving through the market. Audit services and legal services combined for over 26% of new opportunities, which tells vendors that agencies are under pressure to demonstrate financial accountability and regulatory adherence right now, before the next project cycle opens up. Now let's head over to the East Coast. The East Coast is running a mixed system. We have infrastructure readiness on one side, financial oversight on the other. This region is actively buying legal services, audit services, and construction management simultaneously, which means they are telling you they are preparing for new capital projects while locking down their compliance posture before these projects actually launch. New York is pointing to sustained professional services demand across public agencies, while states like Massachusetts are reinforcing the security and facilities activity we saw in this week's top 5. Now, the T on the East Coast is that vendors with compliance expertise and project management credentials are well positioned to move now. Heading to the South is holding steady under high-pressure operational systems. Janitorial services top the category list, while internal audit and professional auditing services rank close behind, pointing to a region focusing on keeping facilities functional and finances really clean. Texas dominated with new opportunities this week, making it the single most active state in the South, and a must-pursue market for vendors in any category. Florida followed behind, adding volume across facility and compliance related contracts. The signal is Southern agencies are steady, state operational mode. Vendors with facility management credentials and audit support capabilities should be having active pipeline conversations in these 2 states right now. Heading over to the Midwest. The Midwest is showing a stable, low volatility pattern built around foundational operations and human services delivery. This region is buying janitorial supplies, community living support services, and ambulance services, a mix that reflects both physical maintenance and direct public service commitments. Missouri is making its primary target for vendors in supplies and health adjacent services categories, while Ohio follows the region's demand for reliable service delivery contracts. So here's the insider. Midwest buyers are prioritizing foundational operations. Vendors who can demonstrate supply chain reliability and service consistency will find a receptive market here. And finally, on the West Coast, they are the most active system in the country this week, and it is moving very, very fast. Janitorial services, audit services, and custodial services top the contracting categories this week. A clear signal that agencies are investing in both physical infrastructure and financial transparency at the same time. The dominant target for vendors in maintenance and compliance is coming from, you guessed it, California. But let's not forget about our other states like Washington that showed up really strong this week, which aligns directly with this week's top 5 geotechnical engineering opportunity. The West Coast agencies are operating at scale. Vendors who can deliver consistency across multiple jurisdictions and reporting that holds up to the scrutiny will thrive in this market. Now we have our Dear Abby segment. Dear Abby, I feel behind because other people are winning. What should I focus on? That is an awesome question, and I have been where you are. And I will tell you, the number one thing you need to do is focus on your plan of action. Are you competing, or are you attracted to big shiny contracts you don't have capacity to complete? The purpose of having a plan is to follow it all the way through, even when you are not winning. But at the end of the plan, you would have won because you would have completed your goal. And at that time, you reassess, you reevaluate, and you come up with a new plan. Were you in high-touch scenarios with many of these agencies? Or did you just hide behind your computer thinking that ChatGPT was going to write your entire proposal? Are you bidding on contracts that are in your lane? Or are you just trying to get a quick win without having vendor relationships with manufacturers? Do not get caught up in the rabbit hole. I know this oh too well. Remember, stick to a plan, and that is how you win. And when you win, you know exactly how you got there. The market didn't pause this week. 60,000 opportunities moved without you since April 1st. So don't be fooled and don't let it happen again. If you want to go deeper, we can. Link is in the notes below. Hope to see you inside the Academy. I'm Abby Souffrant, and I'll see you next week on This Week in Procurement.